To those who have joined us, welcome. Hello to Richard and Bernard. Thank you for your hellos in the comments. And yeah, I think you're going to really enjoy the presentation. It's very nicely animated. I've had a little sneak peek.
We have quite a dedicated marketing team, thanks. As do Voltex.
As do Voltex, of course. And you can shop Majortech's product range through the Voltex branch network, which is 58 branches nationwide, as well as certain products on our online store. Voltex is available to assist with essential services during this time, but we can also take orders and deliver after lockdown has lifted. So, good morning, Renee. Welcome to you. See, we're getting a couple more people in the room. We'll start in the next 5 to 10 minutes. To the people that have joined us, how are you all doing this morning? Did you all have a wonderful weekend? It's not quite the same long weekend when we're stuck at home, is it?
Not quite.
It's a little bit unfair to say, what did you get up to?
I think the fact that we did get up is a good start to the morning.
Yeah, there we go. That's a positive way to look at it. Welcome to the people that have just joined us now. We will be beginning in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And thank you so much for joining us. If it's your first time joining us, you're in for a treat, and you can watch some of our previous webinars on the Voltex YouTube channel. And please do feel free to participate. We have loaded a survey for those who are online and interested in just answering a couple of questions just regarding the webinars, the content, and future content that you would like to see. Please do head on over there to the office and fill in the survey for us. It's nice to see some familiar names coming through again. Welcome back to those of you. Werner, are you still with us? Seems his camera's gone. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, sorry, Ben, I think your mic's off. Do you want to maybe just switch your mic on there?
Here we go. Just open my sample case so I can show you some actual meters.
That's cool.
We do have
those lying around the house.
I've actually got quite a couple of instruments, yeah. We've been doing training with the branch managers and reps twice a week, which is also good for them. There's a lot of new Bluetooth instruments that we have launched, and obviously not everybody knows how to work the app and how to use the meter, so it's good to have a working sample when you do some training online, whether it be at home or not.
That's for sure. So what's that meter that you've got there, if you know?
This is our thermal multimeter, which is our MT2005. It's got a built-in thermal camera, which I'll show you later about. This is one of our later releases. We sold quite a number of these. Obviously everybody needs to measure temperature. And although this is a full multimeter, with a thermal camera built in, you can get the picture there.
That's amazing.
It's not the right color display that I choose, but it's a full multimeter, and being electricians, the biggest cause for fires is loose knot connections. So whether it be overload or just a faulty contact, that's why we sell the thermal cameras. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that meter later. I don't want to give everything away just now.
Just a little sneak peek.
Sneak peek, yeah. Just to prove that I wasn't lying. I've got MT1 with me, and I've got the MT95 with me. So it's all part of the presentation later.
It's very exciting.
We had a bit of training this morning. I get the managers up just before 8, and we have
Shucks.
Cape Town, Durban, PE, and Bloemfontein online, and we do a 1-hour session twice a week. So make sure that they keep on top of their game and have a couple more answers to give if the questions do get raised.
Yeah, absolutely. Training, we never stop learning. As corny as it sounds. But you guys, you've been fully operational from home in the meantime.
Look, with technology as it is, it makes it easier to work from home. I can tell you that apart from Webinar Jam, I've also been on Teams quite often. That's what we use for the office.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's using Skype anymore. We also, I used a program called Leaf, someone else's product. And, the kids have had to do school through Zoom sessions.
Yeah.
Even karate. I've got a third dan black belt karate sensei twice a week on Zoom. So that's different.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's good to keep active and busy.
Yeah, look, sport is quite important in this household. My son is very, very active in swimming, and that was the most difficult thing, is how to do dry land training for swimming.
Yeah, sure, I can imagine. That's a challenge of itself.
Yeah. Fitness isn't everything in swimming, it's stroke development and long legs and flat feet. So it's been quite a challenge to make him understand that, he's not on holiday and that schoolwork is still very important. I don't think the schools realize how much work it is if you've got a full-time job and are able to work from home and then still having to teach your kid as well. But, I've got a partner in crime, so she's busy doing the spelling test and some maths at the moment.
Oh my goodness, I'm sure it's a madhouse over there with you guys. I see a couple more people have joined us. Welcome to the people that have joined us. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just wanted to introduce myself again. I am Robin from the Voltex Marketing Department, and we have Werner here from Major Tech. We're going to be doing a really awesome presentation, tips and tricks on safety instruments. And we'll get started shortly. I just wanted to let you know that the Major Tech product range is available through the Voltex branch network. We have 58 branches nationwide, as well as an online store. We are currently closed due to lockdown, but you can still place your orders with us and we can deliver after the lockdown period is over, if that ever happens. And we are still available to help with any essential services that may be required. We will be hosting a brief Q&A session after the presentation, so please feel free to pop any questions you might have for Werner or myself in the comment section. And I'm going to hand over to you now, Werner. Thank you again for your time today.
Thank you so much. Welcome to everybody that's joined us. If you joined a little bit later, I'm Werner. I'm from Major Tech in Johannesburg. I'm the General Manager for the Instrument Division. Going to show you a short presentation on instrument safety and then show you some new products. Just want to tell you a little bit about Major Tech. I'm going to screen share this presentation. There we go. If you could just let me know if you can see that.
Everything looks good on my side.
Okay, so obviously we've partnered with Voltex. Thanks for the opportunity to do this webinar.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on board with us.
Here we go. The presentation is going to be about instrument safety, and it's called OVERSHOCK, the tale of 2 meters. Imaging that you can see there is the MT1005, which I'll tell you about later. It's a bit of history of the company. The company was started in 1992. The Major Tech brand was released. And if you can see the catalog, it was quite basic. What we had on offer was pretty much 8 products. It was just a single page divided into 2, some instruments, some insulation testers. And the very first meter at the top is our MT500, which is still today one of the most popular insulation testers in the market. It's going to page quickly through the years. As technology improved, we've also been able to add more product to our range and also offer you more per product in the range. The catalogs have been around quite a long time. It's been online. And as you can see on the left-hand side where we started in 1992, the meters were a lot more basic than what they are today. There was no regulation specifying anything about instrument safety. And as the years went by, so did the need for more safer product also become more evident. The instrument numbers have always followed one to the other. And as you can see where we are today on the right-hand side, we offer you the version 4 of the MT1887 with IEC 610-1 Category 4 and Category 3 safety standards as a standard. Okay, obviously for those who don't know what the IEC is, it's the International Electrotechnical Commission, and they specify what is safe and what not. If you look at instrument safety, we sell our instruments to electricians, and they are obviously qualified and, as per their certificate, can and should be working on live components. But it happens that anybody walks into a shop can actually acquire an instrument. So it is important that the person selling the instrument is aware of the safety aspect of selling an instrument to someone that could not be qualified. We will show you a little bit later specifically what the category ratings mean and then why it is important to be aware of the safety factor. So walking into a shop, I need to be aware that I'm going to buy an instrument that could potentially cause harm to myself or to someone else, and that I should choose an instrument that should keep me safe. But how do I do that? What do I look for? What do I ask? On the instrument itself, we've always advertised the safety rating, unknown to many, but it's always stamped on the body of the meter. It's printed on the face of the meter, and it gives you a very clear indication of how well the meter is constructed and what safety standards it complies to. You can see in the images there that we offer you a Cat 4 600 volt clamp meter. The one in picture in the top is the Kairitsu clamp meter, which was one of the first meters in the world as a clamp meter to have a Cat 4 600 volt rating. Our multimeters have always had that, and that specifically refers to the protection of the switch inside the meter and the potential to get hurt from that switch if you do make a mistake will be contained inside the meter and it will not be carried through to the user. But as with many products in the market, you are aware that putting a stamp on the outside of the meter is one thing, but knowing exactly what's inside the meter is something totally different. We've always had to compete with many products. We've been busy selling meters since 1992, and we've always offered a good quality meter at a reasonable price. And that's what we've always advertised. But as the market changed and as products became more readily available from overseas, so did the need for us to also change what we offer. And the meter on the left-hand side was actually sent to Pat as a sample to be introduced into our range in one of our cheap toolkits. And as you can see in the front, it says that it's Cat 4 600 volt. It looks like a decent meter. It's surely got a very good display. And on the right-hand side, you see our MT1881, which is the Mark IV, as you can see on the top right. It's also Cat 4 600 volt. But once I open these meters and I flip them over, you can clearly see the difference inside. If I can just bring your attention to the bottom left where the red and black terminals are, that's what protects you from potential harm. It's a little metal plate soldered onto the PC board. Compared to the meter on the right, which is our meter, you can see that the terminal connections are screwed in with screws and washers. You can also see the big 10 by 38 fuse on the right-hand side, which protects you in the case that you do overload the meter, as opposed to the little glass fuse on the left-hand side, which offers the same protection. And then just a general overview of the circuitry. You can see our meter's got a lot more detail in it. It's got a lot more components. There's a lot more protection built into the PC board to essentially protect the user. Although both meters are stamped outside to both show Cat 4 600 volt, the insides are very, very different. So my question is, if you're going to measure 1000 volt with one of these two meters, which meter will you choose? Now, just to tell you a little bit about the Cat ratings, Cat 4 is when you measure at the primary supply source of the incoming feed. The potential fault could be a lot bigger because a lot of other sub-dBs could be connected to that board, which means that if you do create a short circuit unintentionally, the potential fault that's going to come through into the meter is quite large. Cat 3 is on the distribution side of that DB board. There could still be other appliances connected downstream, which could be bridged and still cause a fault in the specific application. Cat 2 will be the appliance itself. Now, I always laugh when I see this photo because our male model on the left, his name is Ace. We actually paid for him to qualify as an electrician at one of the training colleges. And measuring the bottom of that toaster as he was getting quite uncomfortable and asked the photographer to please hurry up. And the photographer didn't quite enjoy the attitude coming from the male model, Ace, because the photographer was in fact our CEO, Mr. Pat Shaw. And he was quite annoyed with Ace because Ace wouldn't sit still. And a little bit later, Ace said, please, sir, can you hurry up because the toaster is getting hot. So for us to measure on the toaster, we obviously had to have it plugged in. So that's the Cat 2 application. Not so much the heat, but definitely the application. Category 1 is not mentioned very often because it's not supposed to be any live components which are dangerous. If you can look on the right-hand side, I did mark it green. This is when you disconnect the appliance from the power supply. There's no potential fault whatsoever. Unfortunately, we do have a couple of people that ask for cheap instruments supplied in toolkits, and to secure the sale, the cheapest instrument gets sold to that application. And we found these MTD10 DIY multimeters underground in a mining application, which is so wrong, and it is very dangerous because it does not have the protection. Okay. The consequences of selling an instrument into the wrong environment could be medical, it could be heartbroken people due to loss, and it could even become a legal battle. The question is that, do you selling the instrument know what the application is, and does the person buying the instrument, is he liable for buying a product that is not safe for that intended purpose? Something that we do need to keep in the back of our minds. Okay, we've always given you an IP67 meter. People will ask why the meter is weatherproof and waterproof, because we're measuring electricity. The ingress protection is to prevent dust and water from entering the meter and potentially causing a fault. It's used in harsh environments like underground coal mines where dust and humidity is a big problem. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is that you've got 4 holes in the front of the meter. Your test leads go into 2 of the 4 holes. We do supply you with 2 blanking plugs. If you do not put the blanking plugs in the other 2 holes, then the meter is not waterproof any longer. Just to reiterate, the waterproof harsh environments, petrochemicals, and vessel maintenance. Although there's a lot of meters on the market, a lot of different brands, a lot of different features, bear in mind that what you get is not always what's printed on the front. if we look at the multimeter today that we offer, that is safe, you've seen the protection inside the meter, you've seen the build quality, you've seen the waterproof O-ring based housing that we offer you. If you discount the rand-dollar exchange rate, what we offer you today is exactly the same price as we did in 1992. So we still give you a quality meter with all the features, great design, ergonomical housing, waterproof housing, at the same price as it was in 1992. And it's safe. Don't forget that we also sell 1000-volt tested tools. It's being tested at 10,000 volt between a handle and exposed area. And they don't get fixed when they fail. They get scrapped and reworked completely. Although many pliers have insulation on them, not all the pliers come with a safety rating. Okay, then a bit of history. I don't know if many of you know, but the term Bluetooth comes out of Norway, and it comes from the greatest communicator called King Harold Bluetooth. There's a lot of different versions of why he was called Bluetooth. One was eating too many blueberries. But if you look at the name Harold, it was written like that in the Viking days, and Bluetooth, the B looks like that. And they've combined Harold Bluetooth to give you the Bluetooth symbol. Because King Harold Bluetooth was the greatest communicator ever. The reason why I'm telling you that is because we've launched quite a few Bluetooth instruments, which is the MT2005, which I had a sneak preview of earlier. It communicates with iPhone or with Android. You can take thermal photos with it. You can analyze the thermal photo on your phone as an application, get a graph as well as text, and immediately send it off in a report in PDF. It eliminates time spent driving from site to site and then doing work after hours to get the reports out. If you detect a hotspot, you can immediately share it via Bluetooth to your phone and then email the PDF out immediately. It's quite unique in design. It's got an internal memory. It comes in a carry case with 2 batteries. It also geolocates the image on the phone. So you can add a digital photo to the report and then geolocate if you do need to go back to the specific site to make more analysis or measurements. Then we also have launched the MTI-11, which is a mini handheld thermal camera. It's also got Bluetooth. It's a full thermal camera with 80 by 80 pixels. And it's also got Bluetooth, and it works to the same app. Apps are both in Android and in iOS. Then some new products making life easier. As I said to you, the MTI-11, a couple of points there highlighted. Easy file transfer, picture in view, data recording, live recording to the phone. You've got the MT2005. You can see on the image of the 2005, there's a picture of a clamp meter on a specific phase. You can add a clamp adapter, which is our MT740, which can then show you amperage of that hot phase on the same thermal photo, which is nice because in electrical panels, you only have hot connections and overloads causing issues, which is clearly showed here. That wire in question marked is 91 amps, which is not a problem being a 35 mil wire. Then I've got the MT1005, which is also an industrial multimeter with Bluetooth. It can do a graph, as you can see on the right-hand side. You also have color options to suit your mood, I suppose. It's got a 50,000 count display, which means I can get 2 decibels if I measure below 500 volt, which is quite nice. It's got an internal memory. It's also got an onboard memory for recording specifically, as well as the Bluetooth file transfer to a phone app. And again, the phone app's available for both Android and iOS devices. There's a smaller version of this meter called the MT1003. All the features of the 1005 except for the Bluetooth. Then we also launched 2 new voltage meters, the MT478 and the MT473. The difference between the two is that the 473 does not have the digital display. You can clearly see there's 419 volts on the digital display, where the 473 will only show you the LEDs lit up on the side. It can also test earth leakages. It inducts a little milliamps into the circuit of 30 milliamps, so you can test your earth leakage tripping as well with this unit. And you can also do DC as well as phase rotation, which is quite unique. Then we've released a range of environmental meters. There's 4 meters in the range. The MT90 is the anemometer. The 91 is humidity with temperature. We also have the MT95, which is sound level, as well as the MT96, which is a particle counter. These are all mini compact handheld units. The 90, 91, and 95 comes with Bluetooth file transfer to a phone. So measuring sound level in a factory for OSH Act requirements, you don't have to write it down and then transfer it to PC later. You can immediately send it to a recording on your phone and then mail the recording out. And that's about it. From me, catalogs available online. New catalogs should be released pretty soon. A couple of new meters are going to be introduced later this year. We have a 3000 amp clamp meter that's also got Bluetooth AC. It can measure inrush current and also show frequency. We also have the MT785, which is a power clamp, which can show you harmonics, as well as power consumption, and also has Bluetooth. And then we also have a laser distance meter, MT150, which is also Bluetooth, that you can take a picture on your phone and then add the distance from the meter onto the phone and then immediately send it out.
Thank you so much for that, Werner. I do love that presentation of yours. I see a couple of questions have come in here so far. Please do leave your questions. We will be addressing them now. I see a question here saying, do you sell direct?
We don't. We use distributors like Voltex. There is stock in most of the branches. If you do happen to run out of stock, we can have it to the branch within a day. I've got shipping locations in Durban, PE, Cape Town, and Bloemfontein.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I see another question here that says, what does the count display mean?
The count display refers to what you see physically on the unit. If I can show you a meter quickly, that's the 50,000 count that I referred to. That means that the largest number displayed on the display will be 50,000. So just to bring you back to that image I had on the presentation earlier, I showed you 499.25. So if I go over 500 volt, I lose my first digit. So I will show you 501.2. So the count refers to what you see physically on the display. A 2000 count meter cannot show you more than the number 2000, irrespective of where the decimal is. So if I'm going to measure 200 volts, it will show me 199.9. If I go over 200 volts, it will only show me 203 or 204. So the cheaper meters normally have a smaller count display. The counts we offer in the MT21 and 22 is a 2000 count. The MT23 and 24 offers you a 6000 count, which means that I can show you 599.1. So you lose a decimal if you go over the count number.
Got you. Another question here saying, hi, Werner, any new products in the pipeline?
Quite a number. That will be released pretty soon. We are bringing in a medical thermometer, which is quite high demand, which will be landing within the next week. I hope we can get access to it. There's quite a number of units. So I'll say watch this space.
Stay tuned. Another question here saying, do you have a wind speed meter in your range?
We do. If you give me 1 second. There we go. It was on the display earlier. This is the anemometer. This is a Bluetooth anemometer, MT90. We do have 3 different versions. We have a MT975 as well, and then also an MT945.
Just from my side, I know the rage at the moment is all these thermal imaging cameras and coronavirus. What are your take on, and what is your take on that?
It's a good business, I must tell you. Most of the phone calls that I've had in lockdown was for thermometers.
Yeah.
When the thermometers sold out, we started selling thermal cameras. I think there's about 18 or so thermal cameras left, which the guys are arguing about at the moment. But first come, first serve. We've shipped them throughout the country. Some expensive cameras as well. Some 30,000 rand cameras were sold. Temperature, luckily, is one of the easier things to measure if you understand the concept. A lot of people ask about accuracy, and currently our body is the easiest thing to measure because our core temperature is 37 degrees. And outside on the forehead, you won't get 37 degrees, but depending on your ambient conditions, like today is going to be difficult, and you'll probably measure about 32 to 33 if you're not in the wind. So, understanding temperature is the biggest thing about measuring it. If you create the baseline, doesn't matter what you measure with. If you have a baseline and there's a difference between 3 people, if 2 of the 3 people are measuring the same 33 degrees and the third one's at 35 or 36, then that one's got a fever. So I've had a lot of questions about temperature in the past month.
Yeah, I can imagine. Quite the hot topic.
No pun.
No pun intended. If there's any more questions, please do send them through. From my side, I just want to let you know that for anyone who did join in a little bit late, there will be a replay link made available after the session. If you would like to watch that, we will send it through to all who registered, as well as it will be loaded to our YouTube channel. Is there anything from your side, Werner?
If there's any questions, you can mail your local Voltex distributor. Our branch managers are very well known in the areas. They can relay directly to me, and we can come back to you with a solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're also welcome to email marketing@voltex.co.za, and we can put you in touch with the relevant people, whether that's a Werner or a local branch. So do pop us a mail if you have any questions. But thank you, Werner. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me, and we look forward to the next one.
Definitely look forward to the next one. But take care and stay safe, everyone. Thank you for joining. Yep. And we'll see you again soon. We do have a few more exciting webinars scheduled over the next coming days and weeks. So please do check out our social media pages as well as the Voltex website and register to more webinars.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Werner. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.